Hello everyone. CA exams are amongst the toughest exams in India. It challenges your intellect as well as your patience and determination. Today, I have with me a person who not only cleared this exam but cleared it in style with an All India rank 8. I welcome the man of the moment, CA Parth Gupta. He has done his articleship at DTS and Associates LLP in audit domain. First and foremost, congratulations, Parth. How does this achievement feel? What was your reaction?
Uh, Thank you for the introduction, Harsh. Um, the reaction and the feeling of this achievement came in stages in my house. So first, when I came back home from my walk, so the first message I saw is that the results are out. So all my family members gathered around, and then I checked my result, and the first thing I exclaimed was pass. And then everyone in the family started celebrating. Then the second thing I said, 593 marks. And then again, my parents understood that meant that my result is better than what I had in Inter CA. And the third stage, then I hadn't really known about how to check this before because this is the first time I got ranked. So I checked the merit list and told them it's AR8. So it constantly kept on improving in stages. But the feeling of even for initially starting from knowing that I've passed and become a chartered accountant, it's an amazing.
It makes me really happy to listen to your reaction. I mean,
Congratulations to you too as well.
thank you, thank you. It's almost like a festival at your family when you clear the
Yes,
exam. Yeah.
yeah.
So you did your articleship in audit. So how was your articleship experience?
Yes. So my article started in September 2019, and the reason why I chose audit is because I wanted to learn more about the companies as well as to understand the corporate world. Even though I would be just a part of the audit function, it was more important for me to learn how the organizations itself work, and that was the main reason why I chose audit. And over the 3 years, I've learned a lot. I've worked in various areas within audit itself. There are multiple ways to learn in audit, and my experience has been great. My seniors have been great, and the guidance that they've given me all through the time has been a sort of a pillar that helped me achieve my result as well. Because you're not just learning in the time you spend with the books. You're learning with the time you spend with your seniors as well, with the other chartered accountants, partners, their guidance and their understanding of the things may be different to what you understand, and it's just more knowledge that you can gather.
So as such, the articleship phase is quite difficult. We have to manage our work life along with studies. So how did you manage your studies during the articleship period, and how much and what did you study in that phase?
Hmm. So I began my studies about a month after I joined my articleship in October 2019, which would not make sense to many people, but to put into perspective, it's around 2 years and 7 months before the exam. So you have to pretty much start very early in CA final, because all the stages that you go through your life, 10th, 12th, CPT, inter, the difficulty keeps on increasing, and CA final is the pinnacle of at least the journey so far, and possibly ever. So that's why I had known from the start that I needed to start early. And for that reason, I joined my classes in October itself, in the same year that I cleared Inter CA and joined my articleship. During that period, my classes used to be only during the weekends, so it ramped up slowly. So in October, it was just in 2019, the first year of my first year itself, it was just the weekends. Weekends, the classes used to be 6 to 7 hours, and during that time, my purpose of studying was just to understand everything, learn everything, and be clear of what I'm uh, gaining. And in the second year, then the classes ramped up as well. So in there used to be morning classes, three to 3.5 hours in the morning, and after that, in last year, we had classes every single day. So 3 hours in the morning during the weekdays and 6 hours in the 6 hours during the weekend. So that's how I planned. And other than that, I tried to revise as much as I could along with my articleship, seeing that you have to manage your studies and work simultaneously. It might get a bit difficult. It does get a bit difficult. But at facilities like recorded lectures, so in the event that my articleship workload got too high, so I could just skip the lecture and not watch it live, and then later watch the recorded version of it. So you have to find various balances where you have to focus more on your articleship work, because that is the learning stage that you cannot miss. But simultaneously, you have to balance your studies as well.
Yes, right. So every aspirant should be focusing on both the things and not just on one aspect of the articleship phase. Next, coming to the next question, how long was your study leave and what was your routine during that period?
Yeah, I had 4.5 months of study leave. So during that period, by that time, I had finished all my lectures, finished all that I had to study for the first time. So, barring 5 to 10 days that I had to put in extra to complete my portion. But other than that, my plan from the starting was to complete at least 3 revisions in the leave that I had, because I felt that that number of revisions was sufficient for me to learn. But it can be different for everyone. In fact, it is different for most people. So uh, other than that, my daily routine at that time was it was not fixed, but this is a general outline of what I did. I woke up around 7 a.m. And then I used to study for around 2 to 3 hours. Then my first break would be an exercise that could be either working out, it could be jogging, swimming, table tennis, badminton. I keep rotating all these sports around to keep my mind occupied during my rest period. Then after exercising, then taking a bath, I'd used to sit for another 2 to 3 hours. Then take a break around lunch and relax for half an hour. Watch something that gives me that entertains me. That's the most important part. Because when I was relaxing, my aim was to keep my mind somewhere else and not on the books again. That was my main mantra of relaxing. After that, after lunch and break, I'd go back again to the books, spend another 2 to 3 hours. And after that, the time would be usually around 6 to 7 p.m. So my body usually got exhausted around that. But for that, I started doing yoga as well as meditation. So that helped me calm down. And because at that point I had already studied around 7 to 8 hours, so my target for the rest of the day till the evening was how much ever my body can handle. So that is how I used to study during the day. And 8 hours of sleep was a compulsion for me. That's what my body required, and that's when I felt that I could fully devote my time in study. So that's how I planned my day during the exam.
So one thing in particular that I like a lot about your schedule is that you not only focused on your studies, but also you tried to stay healthy and took care of your body, which I feel is a very important thing, as we have to stay fit and fine for a very long period.
Mhm.
So
I'd like
four and
to
a
add in this
yeah,
that, sorry, I'm sorry. I'd like
yeah,
to just add that many people, it's a common misconception that you have to sacrifice something to become a chartered accountant. And most people sacrifice their exercise and working out. So in that aspect, I'd like to say that it's not compulsory to sacrifice your exercise. In fact, I didn't. Over the period of from March 2021, I've lost significant amount of weight along with my studies of CA final. So yes, you need to sacrifice a few things, but ensure that the things that you're sacrificing do not hurt you in the long run. So you need to think of CA final as just a part of life. It's a journey. It is an important one, but doesn't mean that you have to sacrifice your health and other things for that.
yes, that's a wonderful advice for people who are uh, looking up to you. So 4.5 months of study leave and 1 extra month of exams. So that is 5.5 months, and which is a very long period. So how did you manage to stay motivated?
Right. So for my motivation started all the way from inter CA when I had got great marks, but I felt that if I had put in more hard work, I could have got rank in inter CA as well. So missing out on the rank on inter CA was my motivation from the start. That's why I've been started working early stage as well, realizing that if I put in more work now, it is going to help me in the long term. And studying during the leave period, my motivation was to complete what I've planned for myself. So if you it's a selfish motivation for me that what I'm doing is going to ultimately going to benefit me. That's why I have to do what I'm doing right now, and that's how I planned my day, how I can use this day to do the best for myself. And that was usually by planning what to study during the day, how to utilize my break time, and all these things, keeping the mind occupied and focusing on things helped me to stay motivated during the 4.5, 5 months.
Okay, so it's quite important to find your motivation, and you did it
Mhm.
really well. That was from
Mhm.
the start of CA final. So you not only kept your motivation for just your study leave, but your entire CA final journey. That is almost 3 years. Now coming to the most important part, a lot of people want to know how exactly did you prepare for each subject. So starting with financial reporting, which is the first paper. So if you could guide us with your preparation for each paper.
So for financial reporting, I'll keep on going about each subject. So for financial reporting, uh, my source material was module and the textbooks provided by the classes. And for that, my main aim was to focus on the practical, because majority of the FR paper is practical. So solving the sum, solving new types of sum, solving new iterations of sum of the same type of sum is quite important, because you should not get in a comfort zone with practicals solving the same question again and again. It doesn't challenge your mind. And it's equally important to remember that because of introduction of Ind AS, FR has a lot of scope of theoretical questions being asked. So, and while you're studying for Ind AS, you can recognize what are those Ind AS, like Ind AS 37, even business combination and consolidation has a lot of things that could be asked in theory. So you need to balance those things. But yes, the primary focus was on practical sums, and I tried to solve as many as I could. And going on to the next subject, SFM. So in SFM, it is a more clear structure of paper than FR, because in FR you don't know how much theory they are going to ask, but in SFM you kind of from doing analysis of past papers that around 16 to 20 marks of theory will be asked. So you can prepare based on that, and that's how I used to plan my time studying for SFM. That I would allocate 80% of the time, either it could be number of days, number of hours during the day, for practical, and 20% for theory. And for practical, again, the suggestion is same: do as many practical sums as you can do from your module, from your study material, from past papers, MTP, RTP, everything. And one thing important in theory that I've recognized is many people think that chapters like startup, securitization, these are purely theoretical. There's not much practical in it. So those are the only chapters they are going to ask theory from. This is a wrong thinking, because there is an equal chance from portfolio management or forex or derivatives for a theoretical sum to come. And you can see in past paper it has happened as well. So in theory, you need to realize that all the chapters are not purely theoretical and all the chapters are not purely practical. It could be a mix of everything. Going on to the next subject, audit. In audit, my strategy was to be perfectly clear with the essays, the language, the concepts, the applicability, what is the objective, what is the main content of essays. So that you have to have ultimate grip on for audit. And other than that, there are many other chapters which are not exactly standards on auditing, but it's audit of bank, insurance. Every CA final student would know by now, or will soon realize when they read the book. So in those chapters, the biggest help would be what you have learned in essays, because there is a lot of cross-linking of the language as well as the points that are in essay that coincide with what is there in the other chapters. And other than that, you need to have a strong understanding of the points that are given in a question. And I would not ask you to remember all the content of the point, but it would be very beneficial for you if you could correlate the point with the question asked. So that is a very um, it's a sort of hack for you that uh, you could not remember the content, but if you can correlate the content to the question, then it would be a great help. In going on to the next subject, law. So in law, yeah, my strategy for studying corporate law and economic law was more or less the same. So in that corporate law and economic law, my focus was to understand the section, what is the purpose of the section, and how the section will be applied in various circumstances. So it's equally important to remember everything, but if you remember it but don't know how to apply it, then it's of no use. So implementation of sections, essay, all these are important for theoretical chapters like theoretical subjects like audit and law. Then going on to the second group, the first subject is strategic cost management and performance evaluation. So in that, again, there is a equal balance of theory as well as practical. It's usually 40-60 or 50-50. So you need to balance those out while you're studying. And in practical, again, the suggestion is same as FR and SFM. Practice as many sums as you can. And in theory, uh, again, the suggestion would be similar to audit and law to remember all the points and to correlate those points to the question asked. So this is how you can study. And one point like I would like to clarify for all the subjects till now is that in all the subjects, my study material has more or less been ICAI modules, MTPs, RTPs, and the content provided by the classes. Then the next subject is elective law. So for that, I've chosen financial services and capital markets. In that, my strategy for preparing for that was to understand what is given, but not exactly remember it, but to remember where it is in the book. That is important in elective, because in those 4 hours you feel like, oh, you have 4 hours, you can easily find where the content is. But when you actually sit to write for those 4 hours, you realize, okay, I should have prepared where the things are. So that's why after giving a mock test, I sort of realized that I should make an index, and index could be alphabetically or in serial order, whatever the way you prefer. Then the next subject is direct taxes. So one of the most intimidating one, at least for me, because of the size of the subject. And because of that, I had sort of allocated more time to that, but I've stayed true to the content that I have, ICI modules, and the content provided by the classes. And in huge subjects like that, you have to sort of rationalize between uh, what you have to study more and what you need to study less. But realize it's not worth to miss anything, because if you go through the past attempts, you realize something is asked somewhere somehow. So you can rationalize the time spent in a chapter, but do not skip a chapter completely. Then the next subject is indirect taxes or GST and customs. So in that, my preparation was um, based on understanding the concepts and application of the concepts in GST. Since it's a new subject, it's a new law, so the complications are a bit less compared to direct taxes. So I felt that preparing for IDT is a bit easier for me.
You summarized the papers really well. I have one question for paper 6, that is elective.
Hmm.
You chose financial services and capital markets. Was there any specific reason for choosing this particular subject?
The reason for choosing financial services and capital market in my case was because of my personal interest in financial services and capital market. So, and my liking for the subject SFM. So, it's like all the stars pointed towards one direction, that is FSCM for me. But I did research other subjects as well. Most people who skip out or leave FSCM is due to the size of the subject. People see that there are 17 chapters and there are five other regulations. So it might seem intimidating at the start, but the more you go through it, it felt easier for me, at least because of the other things that have been going on, other way I've been working and studying, that I realized that FSCM could be a real great help for me.
Yes, that was wonderful. I mean, thought process for selecting your elective. So now that you have achieved what I would say very few people can achieve, what are your future plans?
Uh, Currently, future plans. It's a question that I've been thinking for the past week as well. But my current plan is to join an organization, um, and it could be multiple sets of role. But my plan for the future is to learn and grow as much as I can in the next 5 to 10 years, and be as close as possible to the position that I ultimately wish to reach. So it's a learning process. It's CA final does not mean that your education or learning has ended. So with my plan for the future is to learn as much as I can. It could be either through um, my work or other means of studying.
Uh, any message for CA aspirants who look up to you and someday wish to replicate your success?
Right. So my suggestion to them would be to believe in yourself, and you need to work hard and work smart. So the hard work portion is in your control, but the smart work portion is somewhat that you can learn from your teachers and seniors who will guide you how to do smart work in the subjects that you face difficulty. And you need to stay positive, and as every time that you study with a positive attitude, that I'm going to learn what I'm going to read. And other than that, maintain a healthy diet, and your health is equally important, just like your education.
Thanks a lot, Parth, for your time. This video and this interview was not only helpful for the aspirants, but even for me. I have a lot to learn from you, and I hope that that a lot of people get inspired by you. And thanks a lot. So this was the interview with, I would say again, CA Final All India Ranker 8, Parth Gupta. Uh, and if you are interested to know more about such people, such successful people, then please do give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to HJ Invest. Thank you for joining this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.